Welcome everyone. We appreciate your being here, especially since we're celebrating two wonderful people who have served the college so with such distinction. I told them that I used to like them, but now I love them. I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Madam President?
Yes. I was going to undress, but then I decided.
Change your mind?
Yes, because I'm going to make a presentation, and Yash is going to help me. As the board knows, we were going to have a presentation on the strategic plan in the work session, and so what we will do is Yash and I will do the presentation. I asked him to put it in a software called Prezi. And Prezi is kind of the new software that is used in making presentations, which is not boring. And so we will have a non-boring strategic plan presentation, which has taken quite a bit of energy here. All right, you ready, Josh? Okay, so we'll go to the previous, as all of you know, in the strategic plan, you work in the development of ensuring that your mission is what distinguishes you from other institutions. And the current trend has been for industry as well as colleges to shorten their mission to where people remember it. And so the vision is what is appropriate for the college at this point in time. And that's why usually strategic plans last for 5 years. And then the values are the values of this institution. And we will look at the values from the last strategic plan. We will review it going forward. And from that, we will generate 3 to 5 institutional goals that we will typically work on the next 5 years. The previous strategic plan ran for 7 years, and Dr. Ortega thought that it was important for the new president to develop the next strategic plan. And so, as I first came in, looking at the old strategic plan really helped me get to know the instructional people as well as the staff. And this is what we came up with. This was the mission that was developed at the last strategic plan. We're trying to merit all those words, but shorten it so not only the marketing people know it. Apparently only the marketing people remember it. And then the vision the same. I think that the words of agile and broad-based resource for educational, social, cultural, and economic leadership is very nice. And whenever you talk to educators, what they point out always is how much more agile community colleges have been than universities can ever be. These were the institutional goals that were developed from the last strategic plan. What we envision in this one is to be more specific. If any of you have talked about the SMART goals that are specific, measurable, action, and S. Do you know what that S stands for? The T? Sustainable, there you go. Okay.
timing. So the accomplishments for the past 7 years, as was seen, you passed a $35 million bond that has absolutely changed this beautiful, beautiful college. And it has added 2 very important buildings. Also, you, after many tries and many tribulations, were able to get the Higher Education Center to pass, and we will be having the groundbreaking in April. The Health and Sciences Center was completed in 2010, and I have visited every room, and it is absolutely a state-of-the-art, and we will be working next year to establish CEU programs. Those are continuing education units, which doctors need, nurses need, all kinds of hospital personnel need, because what the hospitals have said to us is that we have a state-of-the-art building. The Trades and Advanced Technology Center, the same. We will be working with the both the credit and the not-credit sides so that we can expand the utilization. What Yash has done is he has given us an indicator of how much we're utilizing those buildings, how much we're utilizing all of the classrooms and all of the buildings. And what we know is if you have made a great investment, then there should be great utilization of that investment. You were able to, you were added the 29 new certificates that were mostly in the health professions and in workforce. The credit hour enrollment increased by 40%. We have seen throughout the country that when the economy is bad, college enrollment is good. And so we will probably lay flat, or I'm hoping that we'll do some growth in the next 5 years. The degree completion has increased by numbers, if not by percentages. And we have been able to increase Hispanic attendance every year. So there has been more and more representation of Hispanic students in the community college. The challenges, only 37% of our courses are taught by full-time faculty. And so the board and I have made a commitment to save, to look under every rock, and to save some money so that we can add full-time faculty, because full-time faculty are those who accomplish our mission of teaching and learning. Too many of our students require developmental education in the future. I see this in probably 1 or 2 years because we've been so busy. We need to work better with the public schools and get the English teachers and get the math teachers and make sure. It just doesn't make sense when we have some students who have taken calculus in high school and end up in intermediate algebra. It doesn't make sense. Too many of our students are dropping out before they complete their degrees. And so that is where we will be working in the next year to establish really good advising plans that are appropriate to each department so that the students don't ever feel like they're on their own in finishing their degrees. There's too many students who are taking too long. And I really see this as a trend in community colleges. It's almost like we make them feel so comfortable, they don't want to leave. And so we have to find a way that they will become comfortable envisioning themselves going somewhere else. That's the next step, is you've been successful here, and what we have given you will make you successful there. and then we're going to take you there. And that's where the Center for Academic Transitions is going to be so important, taking our kids to UNM, to NMSU, to Highlands, showing them that they can do this in other areas. And our 3-year graduation rate is only 6%, which is the 3rd lowest in the state. This will be changed for next year. The Center for Academic Transitions is going to make a huge difference in the number of students that we guide into graduation. And so we are really working very hard on this because I believe that part of this is fear. It is the fear of not knowing what there is to come, and therefore staying where they are. Did you have a question?
I did, Dr. Guzman. And I don't want to interrupt the flow of your presentation, but could some of that low graduation rate have to do with the fact that Santa Fe's cost of living is so high, and financially it's really hard for our students maybe to, you know, be in school and work part-time and still be able to make a living?
We're going to be looking at that, and one of the things that we're going to look at is the student's ability to be on financial aid with the Pell Grants. Okay, and sometimes what we've seen is that they forget that they have to apply for the next year, and so then they stop out, and then life takes over. And so we're going to look at all kinds of variables that may be impacting this so that our graduation rate increases. Next. So we have to have a sense of urgency, and we must begin to act now to develop the new strategic plan. Is this yours or mine?
This could be me. Okay. So this is what I presented at the last board meeting. You know, we talked about the different steps, and what the feedback I received was, can you give me specific dates and timelines? So this is sort of what it looks like. We talked about how there was an internal and external process. You know, we're first going to be doing a survey, campus ride, for mission and values. And the students have been really, really active to making sure their peers could really find out about what's going on. I've met with the SGA president. I've met with ambassador president. I've met with the PTK presidents, and they're all very excited and interested in being part of it. They're going to be having a bunch of tables on April 1st and April 2nd for encouraging students to take the survey, telling us, you know, what kind of missions and values we really should be focusing on. Then we're also going to have 3 different focus groups at different times to you know, consider the people's different schedules on this campus, either on the 11th, 19th, or the 24th. At the same time, we're going to do an external community survey to try to see what people think of the college. And then the big day is the May 2nd and May 3rd, where we're going to be doing two half-day retreats. We want everybody to come to both of them, where we're going to be looking at our data that we just talked about, as well as what people said on the survey and what people have said through the focus groups. And then there's a specific board retreat planned on the 4th. Maybe, I'm not sure, Dr. Guzman?
What we wanted to discuss with you here is when would it be best for the board to have a retreat. The 4th of May is a Saturday, but we could also have it one evening after work. And so if the board will let me know what would be your best options, then we'll put it together and let you know what you have said.
Dr. Guzman, would you also like to talk about the Rays of Light with external key stakeholders? The Rays of Light with external key stakeholder retreat on the 11th?
Yes. You want to show first, though, there's the board involvement. Carol asked what was the board involvement, so there it is. At all times. You may go to all those meetings if you want. You have the options to do. Where we will need you is in the board retreat. I will also be asking you to give us names of representatives that you want to make sure that should be in the part of the process, so that if you choose not to go, you will have a representative there.
And I'm so pleased to see that, Dr. Guzman. But part of the board responsibility was also to make sure that they connected you to their respective networks.
Exactly.
And so that would be where we would be fulfilling our responsibility that we did at our board retreat that did not have a president there, but we did a board retreat for only board members. And that was one of the areas that we talked about, that we have responsibility to make sure that we connect you and the college to these groups. And so that would be a perfect place to look at that.
To make sure, and having the people that you know are important in the community.
Right.
For example, we know Bill Miller is important, so we're going to make sure. We know that the mayor is important. We're going to make sure. And so I need your help in making sure that whomever you think are important to the community college, that we invite them and become part of this process.
That's
Okay?
actually one of the board goals.
Thank you. Thank you.
So many of the meetings are really happening in May because we're very conscious of the fact that faculty members may have other obligations during the summertime. And so that's the reason why we have so many meetings on those time periods. Where it becomes a little bit more, once we have all that information, we're then going to analyze and consolidate all the feedback that people have given us and try to provide a report to the executive team. And then the phase 2 really comes into place where timeline becomes a little bit more flexible. And this is sort of the time frame where we're thinking about developing the KPIs based on the 3 to 5 institution-wide goals that we come up through the strategic planning process, as well as implementation plan, because so many institutions, to make this a real process, you need to constantly review the progress we're making towards the goals that we state. So every fall, every spring, we should be looking at seeing how well are we doing on those measures, and do an annual update as our environment changes. And then once again, we'll have a final review of the plan at the beginning of August, and hopefully a fall 2013 strategic plan implementation begins.
Any questions?
Yeah, how do the quality councils fit into this?
The quality councils, so if I may go back real quick. So, I'm sorry, I know it's not an easy way of going back, I had to just jump around. The quality, those 3 focus groups were really designed to be on the days when the quality councils are meeting. So those are the days when the quality council representatives are encouraged to attend instead of going to the regular ones, come to this focus groups and really talk about the mission, visions, and values there. And then their feedback then is incorporated into those 2-day retreats.
So they will go as formal, or they'll be more informal?
I'm not clear on your question, I'm sorry.
So where do they fit into the big picture? I mean, we've just like harped on creating these quality councils. I know they're not totally operational yet, but I thought the whole idea is that they would be involved in all of these different kinds of activities. So will they vet the plan when it's done, or?
Well, a couple places. So when they're developing the KPIs later on in June.
I don't know what a KPI is.
I'm sorry, the key performance indicators, those measurements to see how well we're doing with our goals. Then we'll definitely be giving it through the quality councils for them to develop really those goals and make sure those measures are appropriate in their particular areas.
And that is in June?
Yes,
July? June?
that is in June.
Okay.
They're also encouraged to participate through those April 3 days focus groups, which is also scheduled around that time when they usually meet. So in both ways.
So each quality council will have, the entire council will meet to review what the vision should be, what the mission should be, what the goals should be, what everything should be at the beginning of the process.
But, so that's not really reflected on here.
Well, the internal focus groups is 4-1, 419, 424, that's when the councils meet.
But they'll meet with the facilitator and other people, right? in
Yes,
these-
there'll be facilitators with other people as well, yes. But, I mean, because of the space, limitation to the space to the presentation, I couldn't put every single details in there. But those are the days when the councils usually meet. So we've combined the IT council and the Institutional Effectiveness Council to meet on the 19th, for example. Administrative Services Council, as well as the Societal Responsibility Councils for the 11th. And the Academic Affairs and Student Success Council and Marketing Council on the 24th.
Okay. And that's where they will weigh in.
And then they will be reviewing any kind of, each council will be reviewing and have input into what they're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
And, Madam Chair? Yash, when we're looking at, and I know we have a student representative for every council.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, members of the board, yes.
And so each council has at least one student?
No, I think we have more than one per council.
Two.
Two.
Okay,
We have
and-
2 per council.
What is the age group of the students?
Wow.
I mean,
18
Anywhere
to
from, I think,
90.
like 18 to 60.
so we do have a good representation of our student population.
Madam Chair, member of the board, board member Burrito, I'm also going to the Student Government Association meetings, the staff senate, the faculty senate on a regular basis, every meeting to give them updates about what's going on, and encouraging them to come. One of the things that was really exciting for me, in particular, was when the ambassador president offered to take their entire ambassador groups to one of the three focus groups, and they really wanted to be there and let their voices be heard. You know, Alex has designed flyers and posters that's going to be posted on the week of April 1st. You know, I mean, I've been really touched and impressed with the students' involvement.
Well, that's going to be key.
Yeah. It's very comprehensive, and I really am impressed with how tight your schedule is, because you're going to get things done when you do it this way. Very
Going to
impressed.
give us dates?
Yes, I'll make sure to put this in an email format and
And send it to you.
Great.
Yes. Yes. And then make sure that I receive the names who you think we need to include as part of the strategic plan for the external community.
Great. Any questions, any more comments?
Well, I just would also suggest, Dr. Guzman, that we have, you know, you from our active boards, like from GROW and the training center
Yeah.
and our other groups, because, you know, they do so much work for the college,
Absolutely.
and they are really going to be able to help with that. And it's
Yeah.
a broader net.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you very much. Yeah.
thank you.
Appreciate it. I think we have Ron Liz giving us an update.
Yes.
Thank you so much for doing that, Ron. We appreciate the information. We requested it last month, and he's ready now. That's great.
Is this the Academic Affairs Center for?
Center for Learning Excellence.
Yeah, I think you all have pamphlet like this with you as well, so you can look at some of the more details. So I'm not going to go over, in some cases, I'll refer back to that for more detail. Otherwise, the PowerPoint should speak for themselves. Well, not for themselves, I'll speak for them a little bit. But before I get started, our Center for Learning Excellence is always working hard. They just actually, most of them were in an IBEST retreat conference for the last couple of days, so they're not here tonight, except Dana took a break from Ben, which is her 1-month-old baby, to come up, and she's the director, so she's with us tonight, so I may turn to her if we need some clarification on some pieces, so she's here. So anyway, the first part is, you know, what is the Center for Learning Excellence, and here's what we're trying to do. So it really is, you know, enhancing teaching, professional development for all employees. It's a center that's a little different than most around the country in that many centers for learning excellence or centers for teaching and learning or go by a few different names usually focus on faculty development. But this center not only does professional development for faculty, but also does professional development for all employees. It also leads the college-wide distance learning. So the entire distance learning program is run out of the Center for Learning Excellence as well. And I'll let you look at those last couple. And here's what it really is. We have distance learning, professional development, and something called the Skill Up Network. And we're going to look at each one of these a little bit. We're going to spend quite a bit of time on distance learning because you'll see there's a lot that it's done in the last couple of years really on that. But briefly, I think you all know generally what distance learning is, but we'll get back to that. Professional development is that professional development for faculty and staff. The Skill Up Network is the DOL-TAACCT, a bunch of letters, grant. And it's a consortial grant across the state, and you'll see some of the things that it does. One of the things it does, and you've heard some things in the past about it, is it funds iBest not only at Santa Fe Community College, but partner colleges across the state, and you'll see what differences it's made along the way. It also not only does that, but it's working on credit for prior learning across the state, and it's working on an IT stackable credentials across the state as well, and you'll see how that all comes together. It's kind of a neat operation. So distance learning trains faculty. It works under something called Quality Matters, which is assuring the quality of distance courses that are out there. But it also supports technical issues in Canvas, which is our learning management system, does one-on-one consultants in course development and design. It not only does that for the faculty delivering the courses and helps them construct them and put them together and helps them bring them, but it also responds to student inquiries when they're having problems with it as well, working through either the IT help desk or directly through their phones themselves.
Can I ask a question here?
Sure.
So didn't we just recently switch from one distance
Yes.
learning system to another?
And
And
you'll-
why did we do that?
Well, there's a couple reasons. One of them is that that Blackboard, which is actually, Blackboard has two different systems. They have one called Blackboard and one which is WebCT rebranded under Blackboard's name. We were using WebCT service. They're basically stopping support of that. So we had to change systems either to their Blackboard system or to others. We went through, and Casey is back here, and Dana worked on that, and went through a process where faculty are involved looking at a whole bunch of different, well, actually Distance Learning Office and IT went through a whole series of different platforms that are out there, narrowed it down to a select group, and then faculty were involved in looking at it and saying, since we have to switch, let's pick one that's going to work well for us. So they chose Canvas, as did many, 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 many colleges across the country. And it is a huge leap in the technology using social media connections, it's hosted remotely. We don't have to do some internal things. So it just, IT is their favorite system. It was the Distance Learning Office's favorite system, and it was all the faculty's favorite system. So that's why we chose Canvas.
And one of the greatest indicators of it is the ease of utilizing it to teach. And so it's not going to take as much training of faculty to be able to convert their old Blackboard courses into Canvas. So it's a very easy to implement program.
And we're still in the mode of finishing that. June 1st, Blackboard turns off and we're all on Canvas. So right now, the Distance Learning Office is supporting both platforms as well as IT is. So June 1st will be our final phase, and we've been having messages out, and we have big posters, Blackboard ends June 1st, and so it's a lot of pressure to make sure that that's all ready, and you'll see a little bit more about how much that's been for them. But
Are most of our faculty adjunct faculty that do distance learning?
I would say most of our full-time faculty do distance learning in a good number. We have, Dana, I don't know if I have the number in here. Do you approximately? Okay, it might be on my slide someplace, but it talks to, actually, I have it in here someplace, but if you give me a couple minutes,
Okay.
I'll get to that. Because this one, I'm going to show you the volume, what we're doing right now. Here is the total student enrollments for fall of 2012. 70% were face-to-face. but 30% use distance learning in the distance learning office in some form. So that fully online, 12% of our courses delivered are fully online, 11% are blended, which means some of the classroom time is there, and then another 7% are computer assisted in some ways. So 30% of our students enrollments, our SCH, no, our students, and actually head count, take those. Our student credit hours, 34% of our student credit hours are supported through distance learning in some way, where 25% are either fully online or blended. And that's some incredible numbers when you think that it's using there. So it is a very critical area to make sure it's the training's up to snuff, that we have the support people behind them. And and we just recently went through accreditation from the Higher Learning Commission to because 21% of our programs are available by their definition as online. And by doing that, that means it's a major change, and we have to get accredited. And we had a site visit on that. And we got a very, very, very favorable review on it. So, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple minutes. So that's at 21%. Just to give you an idea what these numbers are, credit hours in the fall of 2012 was about 43,000 credit hours for the college, and over 6,000 of those, or 14%, were done online, as fully online. So it's not a small number by any stretch of the imagination. The student enrollments, we have fully online, about 2,100 students are taking a distance learning course online. So 2,100 students. In blended classes, it's almost 2,000. And just to give you, and here's the number, we had about 130 faculty teaching either fully online, blended, or computer aided. So we had 130 different faculty members teaching it. So the CLE supports all 130 of those faculty members in what they're doing with it. As a matter of fact, we had, in the fall 2012 semester, we had 100 faculty members go through training on Canvas. So that was just in the fall. And then the spring, we had another 97 new faculty members. So we had almost 200 faculty, or over 200 faculty members go through training in the fall and the spring semester so far. So that they're being moved over there.
And the good part about that is that once they're trained, then they begin to utilize that software in their non-online classes. For example, grading becomes much easier when you're using Canvas. Test making becomes much easier. And so as the faculty learn the Canvas, then there will be more similarity on how we're doing the online and the internet.
I've been working in distance learning for years and years, and one of the things I always hear from faculty is learning how to develop a good online course helps me in my face-to-face course deliver a better face-to-face, because what you have to do to prepare for those courses and how to get the materials together really makes you think how to put the rest of your courses together. So it has positive impact across the board. So we're talking over 250 faculty members that have gone through some training on how to develop a good distance learning course, which then translates to what do they do face-to-face. The other piece they do is a lot of that is done online, but that doesn't mean that the CLE is not involved in it. That just means that they're monitoring online courses that are run in Canvas, so faculty will learn how to use Canvas and how to do things in Canvas using Canvas. So it's kind of a neat thing. But that doesn't work completely, so they also have face-to-face meetings, and the CLE will meet with face-to-face either group work or individually with people 2 or 3 times a week to get them through what they're doing with that. There's also, they've developed a student orientation that is available through every class. It's available online. It's available in JACC, so students can take a look at that. So that's distance learning. And again, I spent some time on that because it is a huge part of what the CLE is dealing with. Professional development. It has a monthly scheduled professional development with faculty and staff. The actual schedule is in your blue pamphlets there. If you go back a few pages, you'll see it's color-coded to the type of professional development that's being delivered. And it's technical skills, best practices, valuing diversity, workplace relationships. So it's really a broad spectrum of kind of delivery that's in there. And so they do that.
I have a question.
Yes.
So do adjunct faculty get to take professional development?
Absolutely.
And so,
We have a good number that do come to those.
uh-huh.
And we try and schedule a variety of different times, because when we do professional development for faculty in particular, they seem to think the classroom instruction is more important than coming to the professional development. So we have to do it at different times to make sure it's available. And whether it's adjuncts teaching in the evening, or it can come in the afternoon or the daytime. And some of the professional developments, like we just had a retreat, I don't know, less than a month ago, and we actually pay adjunct faculty a stipend to come. And they take a day-long activity, and that's again coordinated out of the Center for Learning Excellence through the Faculty Professional Development Committee that actually gets support from the center as well. So that's a retreat, and it was run at IAI off campus, so we take them someplace, and it's been different each year, and we bring them in, and it's about some topic with academics, and it's picked by the faculty and then helped develop by the CLE.
So all of these trainings then are open to adjunct faculty,
Mhm.
okay? But they may or may not get paid to come.
That's correct. The only one we pay right now is that. However, one of the things that for the Quality Matters I talked about is Quality Matters is a national organization that takes and uses a rubric to evaluate the quality of the course structure, not the way it's delivered, but the course structure. And you need to be an examiner, and you need outside people to take a look at your course to look at that structure. So we're doing that training, and that's actually part of the grant, the DOL grant, and we're paying stipends to people that are going to participate and become examiners for that too. So there is some training we do that we have stipends, and that's through a grant, so it's not operating funds cost.
But do you feel like that a lot of since mostly we use adjunct faculty to teach our students, do you feel a lot of them take advantage of the professional development? Or
Probably not. But one of the things we've tried to do each semester, and I hope we get back on it, was in our adjunct faculty dinner, which we hold the beginning of each semester, we've tried to bring in an academic topic of some kind. So when the adjuncts are there to sign their contracts and do the other things, that we bring in professional development kind of pieces. Like I'm trying to think, it was last fall. What are we in spring? Last fall we had Ridley. What's it? Phi Theta Kappa. But what was his name? Risley. Rod Risley was here, and he did a presentation in the evening talking about the completion agenda. So he gave a real good national perspective on what the completion agenda was all about, and what we needed to do, and how we compared to that. And then we try to carry over some of those themes into the CLE for the remainder of the year and talk about some of the things that get kicked off at that time. And we do that at the beginning of each semester. We have that week-long training program, and during that we try and introduce people to topics that then they would carry on through the rest of the semester and see a series of presentations. Now, the CLE coordinates that. They don't deliver everything, and I think that's a key part with professional development. They're a facilitating group, so they might bring in somebody from our first-year experience to talk about some issues with first-year experience. So they coordinate that, they work with them, they bring a schedule together that works for people. We might bring in outside presenters, or somebody has an idea of an outside presenter, so they help coordinate that. Because they have staff, there's a place that people can sign up, they can call, they can reach people, rather than if an individual's trying to do it, they don't have an easy way to do all that work. So they do a lot of that work for different people around the campus.
Is professional development required for those teaching online courses? A certain amount of...
We don't at this point. One of the things that the dean, it's up to the deans, again, what level of development each person needs to go online and what they need to do. In some of our schools where they've been doing it for a longer period of time, they have actually required that all their courses go through the Quality Matters review. Others have not. Others say you need to get this amount of background before I want you to teach online. And sometimes it's not needed as much, because in some cases we'll have 3 sections of the same course. One person will be very well trained and will develop the course, and then 2 other people will teach that same developed course already, and then have the mentor from the person that actually developed it. So there's different levels needed depending on how the course was actually formulated and put together. One of the great things we have is, because of some 2 grants we have a couple extra instructional designers in the CLE than we would have, and they're able to take actually a caseload. So anybody that teaches online is assigned an instructional designer, so they have a point person to call talk to and work through their course if they have any problems with it, either in development or a function that they want to figure out how to use, or it's not working right for them. They have a specific person that's assigned to them to talk through. So that's been very effective as well. And that's relatively new. I think that started in the fall semester. So
That's great.
so Dana's put that together. The Skill Up Network, this is what I talked about. It's a Department of Labor Trades Adjustment Assistance Community College and Career Training. So you can see all those letters I couldn't remember before. That's what it is now. What this was, and I think I've talked about it before, I know I've talked about it before, and this was a $2.7 million 3-year grant that was given to Santa Fe Community College as because New Mexico had to be granted one. Nobody in the state received a grant, and it was required by federal legislation that every state had to have a grant, had to have at least $2.5 million. So they had to pick a college to do it, and we got the lucky ones to do that. And I say lucky because it's been able to allow us to lead a consortium in the state moving through things. And what I want to do is show you basically the programs that's in there. One is Sun Online, which is an online course sharing system, and I'm going to give you a little data about what that's about real soon. And we have IBEST, which is the Integrated Basic Education and Skills Training, which is, and you can see it integrates adult basic education with career and technical. What this does is say people that are still in our ABE program or early stage or in developmental, we also use that they actually go into short-term pathways to certificates so that they can complete a certificate at the same time they're finishing their basic education. So when they get their GED or finish their developmental, or even before that in some cases, they're actually getting certificates that are workforce directed. The IT Pathways is the snap-on certificates, and that's being developed as a statewide consortium where we can actually, it's developed by a group of people, and then it's delivered and can be picked up and delivered by any college in the state. And they want to use the IT pathway to be delivered through the Sun Online so we can actually share courses, and you'll see a little bit more of that. And then credit for prior learning. Just wanted to give you an idea that we have 6 colleges in the course sharing in spring of 2013. And we projected that there would only be 12 courses in that first semester. That was the first semester we ran it. We actually ran 32 courses, and we had 28 students in it from SFCC. These are students that would not have been able to take a course because it wasn't, either there wasn't a slot or it wasn't offered here, and were able to take it from another college. So that's who's there. For the fall of 2013, we now have 11 participating colleges, and we have 71 courses scheduled in there. So it's growing astronomically, and the higher education department is very interested in taking this model and funding it on a regular basis, and has actually asked us to take it for funding to the legislature next year and see if we can get some state funding to do it. And they said, can you do it this year? I said, let us do it next year. We still have money in the grant, and I want to show you numbers that it actually is working and people are gaining value from it before we go to the legislature and ask for money, because they've already funded things that have not been successful in distance. So we wanted to show it can be successful before it takes it forward. We talked about Quality Matters a little bit. About 40% of our courses are in Quality Matters. I've been through that. And again, we talked about a couple of these other things. IBEST, to give you an idea, we have currently at SFCC 86 ABE students in plumbing, early childhood education, home health care aid, and green building. And expecting 44 students to complete this spring and to walk across the stage with a certificate in their ABE students. Okay. We're adding culinary arts as a 5th area, and I'm not sure exactly when that's coming on, but that's okay.
Ron, this is sort of related. Because you have these courses for ABE students, are they getting a college ID?
Yeah, of course, if they're registered for a college course, they get an A number, and they have to have an A number to get registered. If they have an A number, whether they pick one up or not, I can't guarantee, but they are entitled to the college ID because they're in a college course. Okay. And if you see, we had 56 across the state. There are 207 students and 6 participating IBEST schools during the first year.
And this program was developed in Washington State. And I truly believe that this is one of the best programs that I have ever seen that will first help non-English speakers. And it was developed in Washington State instead of Texas or California or New Mexico. And the other is it will help when the adult basic ed students are learning and getting their GEDs. They spend so much time on it, and yet when they finish, they can only have minimum wage jobs. And so it just seems kind of a futile exercise. And what these programs are doing is that it's combining skills, workforce skills, with their ABE ESL, and therefore when they come out, they're able to be aides in hospitals. There's all kinds of things that are opening up for them. So we are going to be working with our ABE people so that we can expand this program and make it much more vital in numbers than it is now.
And this is another one, let's show that it works. The state actually came to a group of colleges around the HED came and said, we are in this group of preliminary people being looked to implement IBEST in the state. We didn't meet the criteria as a state to get into that model. And the state went to all the colleges that we're talking about and said, you guys find the money and keep doing it because it looks good. It looks like it's going to be a good thing, and they provided no funding. So when one of the things we wrote into this $2.7 million grant was to get some seed money so we could get IBEST started in the state of New Mexico. So hopefully, again, if we show this successful and we show graduates, that we can go back and say, okay, state, fund this. This is a working model and shown nationally. They know it. But if we can show it's working in New Mexico and say, well, all we need is a little bit more funding to do it, our hope is that we can get that as well. So that's good. Now, I think this is the last slide. Yep. In your pamphlets, you have a couple things. You have a little bit more information about what IBEST is. You have things about what Sun Online is. And there's a brochure in the back cover of it that actually is our Sun Online brochure that gives you more details on it. But one of the things that's interesting you might want to take a look is how this course sharing model works, because it's really an innovative kind of idea of how you can share courses across the state and provide access to courses you otherwise couldn't. Let me give you an example, and then I'll end. That, okay, Randy, which school has the, yeah. E&M Ruidoso has a cybersecurity program, a full program online. They don't have enough students to run it. So we went through our curriculum committee, established that as a certificate available here, and we will buy seats from Ruidoso. We don't have to develop the courses, we don't have to deliver it, we don't have to do anything else, but our students can graduate with a cybersecurity certificate from Santa Fe Community College that we get credit for, and all we do is we buy seats from Ruidoso. So it's a pretty neat concept. And there is a list of the 71 courses that are available for the fall semester in your book as well, so you can get a pretty good handle of what those are all
For
about.
how long? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I don't track that. What do you mean we buy seats from Rio?
It's actually a course sharing. So what we do, and it's actually on page 5 of their kind of the booklet in here, and they're not numbered easily, but it looks like this.
Okay.
Okay, so what happens is it's a seat bank idea. So if we sell 2 seats to Ruidoso so their students can, so 2 of their students can take classes, and then we buy 2 seats from them, we don't exchange anything because we just swap courses.
That's great.
What we do is a consortium is if Ruidoso buys from 6 other colleges and then they sell to 3 other colleges, rather than them working individually with each college, they just take the net difference and pay $75 a credit hour of whatever that difference is it actually comes to quality or to Sun Online, and then they redistribute it out. So every school has one bill or one payment, and that's it at the end of each year. So it's really kind of a unique model to do that, and right now it's funded through the grant. So even that payment isn't needed during the first few years of the grant to borrow the seats.
For how long do you have the grant?
It's 3 years. We're in our second year, which will end in beginning of October. It's a September 30th ending date. So we have one more. So we have this one more year.
So how much do you need from the state to make sure it keeps going?
The Sun Online, I don't know. I think what we need is we're working, everybody that was a member, the first 6 that were in it are on a steering team, and they're trying to come up with a cost model. And we're using, what's his name from UNM's Center for, Peter Winograd is our project person. And he is working with us to come up with the model of what it really is costing now that we're going through it, so we can go forward and say this is what it really costs. And the real cost to run it is going to be a core group of people that can do that transactional piece. There's a website that we were able to actually buy that does all the course sharing automated online, and we bought it from Maryland, and we're actually have modified it, paying somebody that developed their original one to do the modifications, and we've taken it already a step way above what Maryland's doing. So it's really those people to manage the website and then to do the billing and collecting that needs to be through a central thing. So it's not a real expensive project to do. You're talking about maybe 2 or 3 people to service 17 colleges in the state.
Great.
Madam Chair,
Please.
and this question is actually for Dr. Guzman. Dr. Guzman? So is it possible, while we're waiting for this potential funding from the state, and trying to live out the funding stream from the grant, if we could maybe have this be part of the wish list to grow? I mean, it doesn't sound like the administrative amount would be excessive, and
Well,
so
our hope is different than that. Since we have 11 partners across the state, that if each one of those 11 partners paid a little bit more per seat so that there was a cut off the top to say, let's fund this.
and that's a stronger.
And I would like to say that when we go to the legislature, we do both. That every college contributes some and the
Yeah,
state
that's much
contributes some.
stronger. Yeah.
And it might be they have to contribute more to begin with, and then it lowers the cost over some time. So I think
Yeah,
that
that's a
there's
much
some,
stronger model.
that's what we're looking about, some innovative ways to make this funding almost insignificant to individual
And
institutions.
that gives
so
it
they
the
can take-
sustainability.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And to smaller institutions, because where this has been tried in other states, the states that have appreciated the most is the states that are rural. Okay, because in particular, I mean, if it's helping us, imagine a small community college, the additional courses that they're able to give their students. And so this is perfect for New Mexico because of its expanse and lack of population.
And I have to give a little full disclosure on this. I said it came from Maryland. It came from an organization called Maryland Online. And when I was hired here, I was the president of Maryland Online. So I brought the model here with an idea, take it to the different group around the state. And before we even wrote it into the grant, they were trying to figure out how to implement it. And so it is, and I've been with it for 13 years. So.
Well, thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Great presentation. Any more comments, questions? Okay, I believe we have the employee of the month.
Employee of the month. Meredith, where's Meredith? Who is going to present you, Dobby? Okay. Well, Jonathan, come on up. Colleagues presenting other colleagues?
Actually, they had informed me, ma'am, that because that was January's, I get to do February.
Oh, okay, good.
It's actually my pleasure to introduce Dobby Schmidt. He is the maintenance manager here at the community college. He does a great job. He makes our department feel like we're the most important, and I found out quickly that many departments feel that way about him. So it was an easy choice for me. He does a great job for us, and I was thrilled to be able to select him for February's Pass It Forward.
Great, congratulations.
Wait, Dobby.
Thank you very much.
Oh, no, you gotta say something, Dobby. You're the employee of the month.
Well, when I started here, it was, I basically fell in love with this place. And I really believe in what it's doing. I believe in what it's doing for the community. And, people ask me, well, is this going to be your career? Is this going to be where? I said, they'll see claw marks in the tile dragging me out of this. There's very few that really love their job and love coming to work. I love this place. I love my job. So
And it shows. It
It
shows
shows.
with the beauty that you have given it and the cleanliness and the pride that all your people have in keeping it a great place. Thank you, Dobby.
Congratulations.
What does one get for being Employee of the Month?
What is it?
Does one get something?
He's teaching? Oh, tell us about that. What are you teaching? Fantastic.
Isn't that
Well,
great?
you'll get another Employee of the Month from them. Thank you. We have another employee?
Who's that?
So what my,
Yes, please.
I don't know what her,
When Dobby first came to campus, I just had to tell this on you, Dobby. When Dobby first came to campus, it was he was hired as a temporary person during the recession. So I walked in my office, and I was there about 7:45, and he'd already been sitting there. And I said, "Can I help you?" He said, "I'm here to work." And he was here before the call. He went, "What time did you come in? About 6:30?" As soon as it opened, ready to work. So I took him to Frank, and he started working then, and look where he is now. I mean, it's just it's that work ethic and talent and skill that's brought him here. So just wanted to say that.
Outstanding. Thank you very much. Thank you. Susan?
Well, and Ms. Siegel was asking, what do they get? They get a certificate
okay,
that says Employee of the Month, the
in a
date.
parking
and his-
place or something?
Think. Come on up.
Susan Johnson?
I'm Susan Johnson, and we have a program called WOW, where we can brag about our fellow employees. And once upon a time, I went into Steve Barella's office. He's over in payroll, and I'd hit a hiccup with something which I don't even recall now what it was. And Steve was able to just drop everything and fix it just like that. And there's been 2 or 3 times when I've gone and knocked on Steve's door, and he's always able to just take care of it right at that moment. And I've come to learn that Steve is very, very respected on this campus. I think everybody knows and loves him. And so I filled out a little thing that said, wow, here's somebody who really deserves some recognition. And his name was pulled out of a box last month. And that's what we're doing here.
Great.
Okay, thank you very much. It's really an honor to get this acknowledgement. I've been here for almost 7 years now as a payroll manager, and like Dobby was saying earlier, I really enjoy being here. I like my job, I like my work, and I like the people that I work with too. It's all in service to the community college, not only staff and faculty, but student workers as well. Thank you.
What did you get, Steve?
Birthday with the...
Yeah.
And today's my birthday.